Hello, my name is Jaisha Wray, and I'm the Associate Administrator for International Affairs at the United States National Telecommunications and Information Administration, or NTIA. Thank you to 5G Americas for organizing this important event to highlight female leaders in the ICT space. For those of you who may not be familiar, NTIA is the US government executive branch agency that is principally responsible by law for advising the president on telecommunications and information policy issues. Now, key priority for NTIA is to connect the unconnected through something called the Internet for All program. As a part of this effort, the Broadband Equity, Access, and Deployment Program, or BEAD, is providing more than $42 billion to expand high-speed internet access by funding planning, infrastructure deployment, and adoption programs through grants to all U.S. states and territories. Now, on the NTIA international side, we see a great opportunity to share our lessons learned on connecting the unconnected here in the United States with our international partners around the world. So as a result, through the International Telecommunication Union, or ITU, Partner to Connect initiative, which was launched in 2022, NTIA has pledged resources to train policymakers, regulators, technologists, and operators. We are executing on this pledge now in a range of trainings focused on connectivity through the U.S. Telecommunication Training Institute, or USTTI. For example, we have sponsored trainings for emerging leaders from Africa on tech issues. And we are also going to be launching an African Women Digital Leaders Training Program later this year, where we will train, mentor, and provide networking opportunities for African women in the ICT sector, with events in Washington, D.C. and Silicon Valley. During this training, the group will engage with subject matter experts from government, industry, academia, and civil society. Indeed, supporting women's ICT leadership is a big priority for NTIA. As a result, we participate in the annual Girls in ICT Day events sponsored by the ITU, and we also work to support Secretary General Doreen Bogdan-Martin's goal, through her leadership of the ITU, of empowering women around the world and ensuring connectivity for all. It was also part of our effort to elect Secretary General Bogdan-Martin as the first female Secretary General of the ITU in its 159-year history. Another core priority for NTIA is ensuring an open, secure, interoperable, reliable internet. As we know, 5G and next-generation wireless technology will have vast applications, revolutionizing a variety of sectors ranging from artificial intelligence to manufacturing and public services. Consumers and businesses alike will benefit from 5G capabilities, including speeds 100 times faster than 4G, latency times of less than a millisecond, and networks capable of handling millions of devices per square kilometer, which is enabling the Internet of Things. The jump from 4G to 5G could really be seen as the difference between a typewriter and a personal computer. The global economic potential is staggering. In the United States alone, 5G is predicted to add up to 3 million new jobs and create $500 billion in economic growth. So the United States hopes that all countries will take advantage of the tremendous economic potential of 5G. And we believe that this can be accomplished without sacrificing personal privacy or economic and national security. This is why we are taking steps to restrict the use of untrusted, high-risk suppliers domestically, and which is why many countries around the world are also implementing these steps. With more and more of the population coming online around the world and the near ubiquitous use of smartphones, a secure supply chain for network equipment is imperative. And so the United States is advocating for a vibrant digital economy worldwide that enables all citizens to benefit from the promise of fifth and future generation wireless networks. Now, that said, we are concerned that only a few firms exist that can provide the full set of radios and equipment that power mobile phones. Now, this limited competition in the telecoms infrastructure market can reduce supply chain resilience and contribute to higher prices for operators and consumers in the long run. Now, as a result, NTIA has become a champion for industry's development of open radio access networks, or Open RAN. Now, Open RAN is an approach that would enable a variety of software and hardware suppliers and the ability for operators to disaggregate the functional network elements between multiple suppliers using open interfaces. Now, this approach can allow for more flexibility across networks and help drive down costs that benefit the end user. It will also open market opportunities for a variety of suppliers that can drive more innovation across the ecosystem. So essentially, it allows for operators to select hardware from a range of suppliers to meet their specific needs. It also gives them the flexibility to upgrade their network in a gradual manner, as opposed to facing the full capital expense of one network upgrade at a time. Open RAN is neither a theoretical nor experimental development. It is an industry-led, market-ready approach. In fact, there are already operational networks compliant with open specifications in Japan, Germany, and the United States, along with relevant activities or operator commitments in locations around the globe. Within the US government, we are pursuing numerous efforts, all reflecting our view that while industry stakeholders can and should continue leading progress on Open RAN, policymakers have a strong role to play in fostering enabling environments for its success. For example, we are supporting policies that provide R&D funding for new market entrants and new technologies. And many of our government labs are directly supporting such R&D, including NTIA's Institute for Telecommunications Sciences located in Boulder, Colorado. In addition to operating an Open RAN specific lab, our Institute for Telecommunications Sciences has completed 2 years of a 5G Challenge prize competition in collaboration with the Department of Defense, which is really working to accelerate the adoption of open interfaces and multi-vendor solutions. The 5G Challenge demonstrated for the first time in a public forum that interoperability between multiple first-time vendor partners is possible, and provided the international Open RAN community with useful test plans and lessons learned that are continuing to drive innovation. NTIA is also working to advance the $1.5 billion Public Wireless Supply Chain Innovation Fund, which is working to accelerate open and interoperable network adoption. Under our first Notice of Funding opportunity, NTIA awarded more than $140 million to 17 projects to promote and improve open and interoperable radio access network testing and R&D for the development of new testing methodologies. We also recently announced our second round of funding back in May, unlocking over $400 million to drive the open radio unit commercialization and innovation. We received overwhelming interest in this notice of funding, including 227 applications, which we are reviewing now. We're also working now to plan our next funding opportunity, since time is of the essence to impact the 5G equipment market. But we also want to make sure that our investments are strategic and truly responsive to industry needs. Now, while a lot of work has been done domestically, we understand that international adoption will be critical to achieving global scale for Open RAN, and this is why our Innovation Fund is open to international participation. It is also why the US government has driven numerous efforts to deepen partnership among global policymakers on telecom supplier diversity and 5G security. For example, NTIA has participated in a number of workshops organized by the Commercial Law Development Program and the US Department of State all over the world, including in Argentina, Costa Rica, and Colombia. Another key example of international cooperation was the Prague Proposals on Telecommunications Supplier Diversity, which was established at the Prague 5G Security Conference and released by the Czech Republic in November of 2021. Now, as I previously mentioned, the movement towards Open RAN can and should be industry-led, but there is a role for governments. And the Prague proposals outline what that role should be, including making sure that the appropriate policies are in place, investing in R&D, considering incentives, and taking part in international cooperation. The United States was pleased to join like-minded partners in fully supporting the Prague proposals, and we continue to see more endorsements from additional governments. For example, Costa Rica recently endorsed the Prague proposals, and we would be happy to share more information with any governments interested in learning more. We also continue to engage with international partners at the multilateral level on Open RAN, including through collaboration through the Quad and the G7, as well as at the bilateral level with a range of partners. In the Quad, which is a grouping consisting of the US, Japan, Australia, and India, we are actively exploring ways to collaborate on the deployment of open and secure telecommunications technologies in the region, including working with industry through Track 1.5 dialogues. The Quad countries are also cooperating on technical exchanges and testbed activity to advance interoperability. In 2023, Quad partners announced the first ever Open RAN deployment in the Pacific, in Palau, to support a secure, resilient, and interconnected telecommunications ecosystem. And we're committed additional funding to this effort to continue to expand Open RAN collaboration to deliver on trusted technology solutions. The Quad is also planning to expand support for the ongoing Open RAN field trials and the Asia Open RAN Academy in the Philippines. We are also planning to invest over $7 million to support the global expansion of the Asia Open RAN Academy, including through establishing the first of its kind Open RAN workforce training initiative at scale in South Asia, in partnership with Indian institutions. And Quad partners also welcome the opportunity to explore additional Open RAN projects as well. Another example of international cooperation was very recent. Just this past September, NTIA worked to organize the first ever International Open RAN Symposium in Colorado. And this symposium brought together a diverse set of international stakeholders to foster discussion and collaborate on Open RAN testing. We had more than 300 participants, including from 20 countries around the world. And we hope that you will consider participating in next year's symposium, with more information to come soon. Another example of our multilateral cooperation has been through the Global Coalition on Telecommunications, which was launched about a year ago and is the broadest international grouping to date focused on telecommunications cooperation, including on supplier diversity. NTIA is leading the group's work on supplier diversification, and we firmly believe that the partners and other like-minded countries have an opportunity to make progress in this area. Another priority that the Global Coalition on Telecommunications is looking at is on future telecoms, including 6G, which has been a top focus for NTIA. Earlier this year, NTIA launched a public request for comments on 6G, and in particular, the government's role in 6G. And we are analyzing the 40 responses we received now. But we recognize we must take an international approach to 6G. As a result, we have worked with our like-minded partners to develop consensus around a set of principles based on security, openness, and resiliency for the development of 6G. And in February of this year, the United States joined 9 other governments in endorsing principles that will enable secure, open, and resilient 6G wireless communication systems by design. Through the US-EU Trade and Technology Council, we have developed a joint 6G vision that recognizes 6G systems should include open, global, market-driven, and inclusive multi-stakeholder approaches for the development of technical standards to ensure secure and interoperable telecoms equipment and services. So as you can see, NTIA is doing quite a bit of work alongside our international partners and interagency partners to promote a trusted, open, and interoperable telecommunication network. And I really look forward to collaboration with additional partners around the globe to continue to advance these efforts. Thank you.